Hello viewers, this is Nahoo News Weekly presenting this week's news to you. It's me, Gifty Makanoon. Please stay tuned. Moving on to our first news, the Government Communication Service announced that the strict discipline followed by the National Defense Forces to prevent fighting in the cities has prevented harm to civilians. In a statement issued by the service, the Ethiopian Defense Force has taken control of the cities of Shire, Alamata, and Qoram without conducting any kind of war in the cities. It was announced that the strict military discipline followed by the Ethiopian Defense Force was based on the divination of those who were echoing the propaganda of the TPLF. By coordinating with various aid organizations, the Ethiopian government has made adequate preparations for the delivery of aid in the areas controlled by the defense forces, and this includes the delivery of aid using Shire Airport. The government is expanding the roads through which humanitarian aid can be delivered in coordination with humanitarian aid institutions, and is working to open the road from Kombolcha, Dase, Waldia, Qobo, Alamata through North Gondar to Shire. The statement said that the committee to carry out this work has started to work from the relevant parties. These works will include technical studies and basic works to start services in areas where there was conflict. Ambassador Redwan Hussein announced that the government is waiting for the AU to announce the date of the peace talks. Ambassador Redwan Hussein, the Prime Minister's National Security Advisor, said on his Twitter page that they are waiting for the African Union to inform us on the date of negotiations. Nothing has gone out of control in the conflict in northern Ethiopia. He said everything is going according to plan. Some have pointed out that the statement that the conflict in northern Ethiopia is out of control and is untrue. The conflict has spread through other regions, but now that is not the case. They said that prevention measures are going as planned. The ambassador also announced that humanitarian aid delivery and service will start soon. The Sudanese government will not cooperate in any activities that harm the people and the government of Ethiopia, said Major General Mohammed Ali, the head of the Sudanese intelligence agency. The general discussed security issues with his Ethiopian counterpart. In a better way than usual, they discussed and reached an agreement about the issues that should be worked on between the information institutions of the two countries. Major General Mohammed Ali thanked Ethiopia and the Ministry of Defense for their welcome. They stated that they are ready to resolve the frequent conflicts between the borders of the two countries. He assured that the government of the Sudan will not cooperate in activities that harm the people and the government of Ethiopia. Major General Dems Suamenu, the representative in charge of the Department of Defense Intelligence, recalled that the people of the two countries share culture and history beyond the borders. According to the information of the Ministry of Defense, the terrorist group of TPLF has been working to create problems between the two countries for a long time. But they have confirmed that they are ready to prevent problems arising and solving the existing problems together. As we move on to further news, the delegation led by the Minister of Finance Ahmed Shide discussed various issues with the Director General of the International Monetary Fund. The delegation led by the Minister of Finance Ahmed Shide held discussions with the Director General of the IMF on various issues including debt transfer. At the same time, the Ethiopian Embassy in the US announced that a fruitful discussion was held regarding the benefits of Ethiopia's temporary food financing program of the IMF and the common framework of the G20 debt transfer. The information also mentioned that the group consulted with international financial institutions and development partners during its stay in Washington, D.C. Economic crisis, food security, rising food and fuel prices, investment in education, human resource development, and climate change are the main issues discussed at the annual meeting of the IMF and World Bank Group. Ethiopian ambassador to the US Sileshi Bekkele and the Minister of State for Finance Dr. Eyob Takalling held discussions with more than 50 American investors. Those who participated in the discussions in person and on the internet said it was an important decision to evict Ethiopia from AGWA, and it has caused many citizens to lose their jobs, according to the information posted by Ambassador Sileshi on his Twitter page. They stated that the decision was affecting the relations between the two countries. In the discussion, he said that he called on American companies to put pressure for Ethiopia to return to AGOA. Ambassador Seleji informed that the government has an uncompromising position to resolve the conflict in northern Ethiopia peacefully and to improve the lives of Ethiopians. It is to be remembered that the ambassador of Ethiopia to the US, Seleshi Bekele, in the previous discussions with the members of the US Legislative Council, asked the members to support Ethiopia's return to AGOA. Addis Ababa City Administration Mayor Adaneч Abebe held discussions with mayors of different cities in Brazil. In addition to her stay in Brazil to participate in the 8th Milan Urban Food Policy Pact Global Forum, the mayor held discussions with various mayors of different cities. In this way, they held the bilateral discussions with Eduardo da Costa, mayor of Rio de Janeiro, Anas Cuvazo, vice mayor of Milan and head of Milan's food safety policy, and Audrey Pulvar, vice mayor of Paris. Information from the mayor's office indicated that during the discussions, consultations were held to establish a strong bilateral relationship between the cities and strengthen continued cooperation. At the 8th Milan Urban Food Policy Pact Global Forum, Addis Ababa was recognized as the winner of an international competition in the field of sustainable nutrition and nutrition in the best practice of education in schools program. A request was made to the top management of Toyota company to engage in the production of automobiles in Ethiopia. The delegation led by Minister of Industry traveled to Japan to promote the Ethiopian Tamrat national movement in Japan. Discussions and institutional visits were held with development partners in Japan in order to attract investment and make the national movement of Ethiopian tourism a reality. In the discussions, Toyota company has asked the top management of the company to invest in Ethiopia, especially in the field of automobile production. The Toyota company has reached an agreement to work together on training to increase the productivity of automobile industry. In addition, during the work visit, Japanese industries were able to develop a continuous culture of productivity and quality and competitiveness, and the Japanese Productivity Center, which played a major role on the process of developing a culture of productivity. The Japanese Society of Scientists and Engineers and Toyota company facilities were visited to gain experience. The National Bank of Ethiopia has clarified the guidelines for the payment of rewards to those who point out illegal money transfer. FBC reports that the bank, which recently announced that it will pay a reward to citizens who report illegal money transfers, gave an explanation about the general guidelines. The bank has recently announced that the public will be asked to give suggestions on 4 illegal activities and will pay a remuneration fee for those who point out the illegal activities. Accordingly, number 1, accumulation of local and foreign money more than allowed. Number 2, making fake money or printing fake money. Number 3, accumulation of gold. Number 4, if stated, the citizens should give suggestions on individuals who also transfer money illegally without permission, and they will be paid for their suggestions. The bank has announced that it will pay a reward of 15% of the seized amount, 15% of money transferred to foreign countries, and 25,000 birr to those who point out illegal remittances. It is said that it is forbidden for individuals to carry more than 100,000 birr per day, and for institutions to carry more than 200,000 birr per day. Moving on to our final news, Ethiopian Airlines has announced that it has placed an order for 36 additional aircrafts in line with the growing customer demand. According to the CEO of Ethiopian Airlines, Mesfin Teshome, the airlines has placed an order for 36 modern aircrafts of different models, including 2 Boeing 787 Dreamliners, in line with the growing customer demand. It also indicated that the 2 787 Dreamliner aircrafts will be delivered within a year. Among the airline's 140 aircrafts, 27 aircrafts are Boeing 787 Dreamliners. The CEO said that the arrival of 2 more aircrafts will bring the number of Boeing 787 Dreamliner aircrafts to 29. When Ethiopian Airlines imported the Boeing 787 Dreamliner, it was the first airline from Africa and the second airline in the world after Japan. Currently, the airline has 130 destinations and 140 aircrafts. That was the end of our weekly news from Nahoo TV. Please remain tuned to the remaining programs from Nahoo Television. It was me, Gifty McConnell, presenting this week's news to you. Until next week, have a good time.